This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Better banking, local solutions. Live from the Country Financial Studio, here's Joey Mack.
Thank you, and we've got a lot of guests for you coming up today. One, Rob Moseley, editor-in-chief, GoDucks.com, will join us here coming up in just a little while. We're going to talk a little bit of football, some guys that have announced they're either coming back or they're not. We'll tell you a little bit about that. Derek Radley, Oregon women's golf head coach, will be with us as their season begins on February 6th. And an international roster for women's golf. I'm curious to ask Coach Radley about that because we know that traveling has been difficult in this climate. So what's that been like? We're going to talk with Coach Radley about that coming up, so stick with us. Also, Matt Ulmer, head coach Oregon Volleyball, will be live with us in just a bit, as they've got their season's underway. I mean, it's awesome. So there's a home opener for Oregon Volleyball coming up this week. We'll talk with Matt Ulmer about that and jump into a lot of different things. And also some news and notes for you to start off today's show. Well, if you're just joining us, yesterday we were still getting ready for a men's basketball road trip to Los Angeles. Unfortunately, yesterday afternoon, Oregon men's basketball announced that they had to pause all team-related activities because of COVID-19 protocols. And wouldn't you know it, it was right when Terry Johns and I wrapped up Tip-Off Tuesday, and that was when the news came down. So for those of you who listened to Tip-Off Tuesday on the radio side of things live at 7 o'clock, you actually heard a different show than the one that we did for our video audience in the afternoon. It is what it is. As a result, the 3 scheduled games on the Ducks' upcoming trip to Los Angeles, including 2 games at UCLA, that was Thursday and Monday of next week, and 1 at USC on Saturday. Those games have been postponed. Rescheduled dates for those games will be announced when finalized. And, look, so now we see what happens. That'll be, though, the 3rd time that game against UCLA now has been postponed and rescheduled. The Tetris game of figuring out the schedule, exceedingly difficult. I just hope that Oregon is able to get as many of those games in as possible. Mostly because, 1, it's good to see those guys competing, but 2, if you look up and down the Pac-12, Oregon just needs to get some games in, as the Ducks have now been struck with their 2nd COVID pause, and wishing everybody within the men's basketball program the very best. Elsewhere, Tim DeRuyter tweeted out a new profile pic. Looks pretty good. Tim DeRuyter, of course, a former head coach. He's had a lot of success. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Yeah, that's a good look for Tim DeRuyter. Also, a couple notes from Oregon football, as Cale Millen announced he's transferring, and best of luck to him. And J.R. Waters announced today that he is transferring as well. A couple offensive players for the Ducks, and wishing them nothing but the best. You can find their posts on social media. And, this is one thing that I think is always cool. And I'll be honest, I don't pay attention to a lot of other social media posts from other universities. But I do think the fact that all of the guys and girls that leave Oregon, they usually leave a nice message to Duck fans and the community, and I just think that says something about this place. I don't know if that happens at every other university when someone elects to transfer. That's maybe just me looking at it through green and yellow lenses, but I do think that it says something. So best of luck to those 2 pair of once a Duck, always a Duck athletes. Also, Georgia Murphy has been honored by the Pac-12. That happened just after we got off the air yesterday. Defensive Player of the Week for the Oregon Libero, or Libero. It depends on who you're talking to. I'm a Libero guy. Career high 29 digs over Washington State as the Ducks got the win on Sunday. Oregon Volleyball splitting their matchup in Pullman. Sophomore was all over the floor. 5-set winner for the Ducks on Sunday. Those 29 digs are the most in a match by an Oregon player since Brooke Nunneveller had 30 against Colorado in 2018. I bring that up because, remember, Brooke Nunneveller started as a libero, moved to outside hitter, and then had a bunch of success. Just tremendous versatility. After 1 weekend of play, Murphy leads the Pac-12 in total digs with 41 and is 4th in digs per set at about 4.5. So Georgia Murphy, the Defensive Player of the Week for Oregon Volleyball and in the Pac-12. Also today, women's tennis. We've got a schedule, and things are starting quick, as the 2021 schedule is out for women's tennis, consisting of 21 matches, and it begins this Saturday at Gonzaga at noon. Following that season opener, Ducks will return home for a 5-match homestand against Portland State on February 5th, then Idaho 2 days later, and a week later after that, they'll play Seattle, then Portland and Eastern Washington. And you'll notice very regional. That's the way that a lot of these schedules are going to be. In fact, I think in every sport this year, you're going to see mostly regionalized scheduling, and that just makes sense. Limit the travel as much as you can. However, the Ducks will then hit the road to Oklahoma and SMU on one road trip into that part of the country, and then Pac-12 play begins against Arizona State on March 5th. That's the 2021 Oregon women's tennis schedule, now available on GoDucks.com, and I think we're going to have Courtney Nagel on the show now. The All-American as a student-athlete for the Ducks, and now the head coach of the Oregon women's tennis team. And men's golf is still in action today. Oregon is currently sitting in a top 5 position as Oregon men's golf under Casey Martin is rolling. The Ducks out in Arizona at the Suialo Golf Club. That's right. Nate Stember and Owen Averett both shot 1 under 70s to tie for the low round on the team yesterday. And the Ducks looking for a top 5 finish to open up their season. You know, I always think every time this time of year occurs, it always kind of smacks you in the face when golf gets going. And they've done really, really well. Also, we have a special surprise for you today. And it's not Derek Radley. It's not Matt Ulmer. It's actually that Rob Moseley is in the building today. That doesn't happen very often. I'm going to tell you about that and come back and also sit down and talk with the editor-in-chief of GoDucks.com, who I tried out a new emoji thing today on the Twitters, Rob. I hope you were okay with, you know, I had a golf coach, so we had like the golf greens. Then at volleyball coach, I was easy to do volleyball. So for Rob's, I put like a memo, you know, like pen and paper. That seemed to appropriately emoji a penguin. Well, of the Pittsburgh variety. All right, we're going to get a timeout. Rob's here. We won't keep him waiting. Back after this, talking with Rob Moseley on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union. Join in. OnPointCU.com. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
As my family continued to grow, I realized I'd have to replace my beloved Jeep with something that has, well, more seats. I'm Jason Hines, Country Financial Rep and father of 7. Whether you're upgrading from your sporty ride with no room for a car seat or finally replacing your well-loved beater that still has a cassette player, you'll want the right protection for your new car. Work with a Country Financial Rep like me and get the protection you need at a price you can afford. Learn more at TakeSimpleSteps.com or contact a local Country representative.
Don't go anywhere. Duck Insider continues after these messages on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College. Learfield IMG College.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the lingo.
GOAT, G-O-A-T, acronym, stands for Greatest of All Time. As in, spaghetti sandwiches for dinner? They're my fave. Dad, you're the GOAT.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care would love you just the same. Visit adoptuskids.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Man, do I love card night. You ready, boys? You got a king?
Go, fish dad!
Oh, come on. This is WWE superstar Titus O'Neil. It only takes a moment to make a moment. Take time to be a dad today. Learn more at 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov.
Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
All right, special surprise on Duck Insider presented by On Point Community Credit Union. I'm excited because this is the first interview that we've done of this variety where it's not like either me or Terry or me or Jerry sitting here in the studio doing a show. This is like a guest is in the studio with his own actually just cleaned headset, by the way. Rob Moseley is here, and we were talking during the break. You were here a lot during football,
right?
Because you were at practice, but that was a little different. You're outside, you're with the guys, but you're not really with the guys. We've discussed how different it was.
Go home to work.
But you're that's weird. Yeah. But you're actually here in the building today.
Yeah, I've had some stuff for a project I'm working on, some historical stuff that so the archive. Not all of our archives are digitized, so we do have to do some stuff. Some research on hand.
Well, now you have to tell us what the project is.
There's a lot of, I'd rather not.
Oh, come on.
So it's a whole lot of like, hey, do you need to be in the building? Because I need to be in the building.
Right.
You go this hour, I'll go that hour. Because our communications office is like an open office. So we don't want a bunch of people in there at the same time. Right. So a lot of trying to stagger arrivals and departures. And
your archive room is quite large.
It's the room. It's with offices in it. Yeah. We're for anybody who was a fan going back in the day, and you'd go to the Pittman room for post game to talk to the coach. That's now my office. Yeah. So if you were around 15, 20 years ago and would go to the Pittman room after the game, that's where I work now.
It's interesting though, talking about the archives. I didn't think I was going to ask you about this, but since you won't tell us about your project that hopefully is coming soon, I'm going to have to try and dig up a few things.
All right.
The archives are actually fascinating. I have had to dive into a few things before, but like for example, I'll tell this story and I'm sure you can follow up with like multiple others. There's a media guide basically for every sport dating back like as far as things go, which you'd think, in the modern internet world, it's like, oh, well, you can just look this up and, figure it out. Well, for example, we had to figure out exactly why the men's basketball team didn't play a game for 14 days back in the 70s, because that was the last time that it happened, and Greg went and figured it all out. And so then, of course, Rob,
what was the answer to that?
Well, we're getting to that.
Oh, got it.
I went down the rabbit hole of like, well, what happened? So a fan suggested on the show, Jack, who was class of 1975, he said, well, maybe there was like protests or something going on in that era. I asked Jerry Allen. Jerry was like, I don't know. I don't think so. It was literally just a scheduling quirk. Oh. We would have been able to figure that out if it wasn't for the archives and Greg knowing which media guide to grab.
We have racks and racks, too, and this is just so old school, and, maybe inevitably this will change over the years. We'll digitize this, but, like, literally just alphabetized manila envelopes of notable student athletes from over the years, coaches, with newspaper clippings, photos, all that stuff is now digitized. It's produced digitally, so you don't even have a hard copy to archive. Mm-hmm. But so when you're looking up stuff from years and years and years and years ago, that stuff is still all archived by hand, and you have to kind of go through it by hand just to make sure you're. There's a lot of stuff that over the years you start to feel like it's in your head, but you want to confirm it all, and so.
And if it was in my handwriting, you couldn't read it. So
yeah, I'm the same way.
I mean, but I feel like all writers, though, you guys all have like shorthand. I mean, right?
Yeah, I have to make a point of, okay, am I writing this down just to sort of keep myself, like I did an interview with Graham Abel, soccer coach, the other day, and I was taking notes, but I also was recording. So the notes I'm taking are really just to sort of keep myself engaged, keep my mind from wandering, because I'm a human being, and that happens sometimes. You see a squirrel, and you want to go chase it.
You're kind of an ADD guy?
Yeah. No, I'm not too bad that way. Bad. But, yeah, tend to be – there's a lot going on right now, But if I'm not recording something, then I'm a little more – I'm a little more careful about how legible everything is. But if I'm just sort of doing it to pay attention, it's just scribble, 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 scribble. Yeah, 5 minutes later, I couldn't read it.
Now we've gotten into the weeds a bit, but now I'm curious. Do you have a shorthand that you type? Like, was that ever something that you kind of adopted? Was like shorthand typing?
No, and I never took like a typing class. So my typing, like a typing teacher would look at it. No, I'm not. I don't engage like my pinkies ever. I assume you're supposed to, right?
Yes, you are.
Yeah. Every once in a while, like a ring finger will shoot out, and I'm like, yeah, look at that. But no, like if I'm typing if I'm transcribing quotes in like a press conference, obviously it will become stuff like that. But no, I'm pretty good. I mean, I have like my own typing system. It works for me, and that's all that really matters. And that's what I tell people when you're getting into the business. If you're kids these days, they don't really take notes at games. You know, they have their laptops open, and they'll have like a Word document, and they'll just sort of write down something notable. But if you don't have the full context of the game, you don't really know what's notable in hindsight. Something that might seem notable at the time suddenly isn't.
Yeah.
5 minutes later. I mean, I think you do yourself a disservice if you're not taking notes throughout the game, kind of keeping play-by-play. And so I do think that is something fundamental everybody has to do, but there's no like right way to do that. You know, it's like I tell people, like, here's what I do. You might steal some of this or all of this initially, but eventually you're going to figure out for yourself what makes sense to you, what you can interpret afterward, what you feel you need to write down, and what you feel you don't, and it'll just sort of happen organically.
The broadcast version of that is you're always trying to figure out when to write down notes to yourself while not taking your eyes off what's happening.
Oh, totally.
Because you could miss stuff.
Oh, yeah.
But
During the Chip Kelly era in football,
it's terrible.
It was a disaster.
Yeah, well.
Yeah. Trying to write down one play, and then you look up and the next play is going on.
And to be honest, Jerry and Jorgie even doing games, I've talked to them about this, that was an adjustment for them. Like, there wasn't breathing room to talk. But the reason I bring that up is, you know, the broadcast version is also like, I have figured out how to write stuff down, and I have a lot of help, especially at home, from John Lundquist, who's he's the only reason I sound like I know what I'm talking about at all with the stats. But I've started to write stuff down on my computer, and I can type like without looking, but it's never exactly right.
Right.
And that's why I was wondering about if you started to do like the no-look typing notes, and I've kind of developed like a typing shorthand that I do while I'm doing
That's kind of like with the ring finger. Like every once in a while I'll realize that my eyes have sort of drifted up because I'm thinking. That's less transcribing. That's more like when I'm actually writing, when I'm actually like composing something, crafting my art.
There you go. Using the pen to paper.
And sometimes I'll be like typing and I'll realize I'm like staring off into space because I'm lost in whatever I'm trying to compose.
Yeah.
And then that's another like, hey, look at you. You don't have to like stare at the keyboard while you're typing. That's pretty good. But
Great work.
But usually I have to. I'm definitely
You know how I learned how to type, and this is going to date me a little bit, but it's going to make you guys angry. I learned how to really type fast on AIM, on AOL Instant Messenger.
Yeah.
That was what taught me how to type fast.
Yeah.
Yes, you do. Scott says he doesn't even know what that is. Yes, you do. You never had the little remember the little yellow guy that looked like he was running Instant Messenger?
When I would use that like pre like just iPhone message and that, I was probably 28 or 29.
Yeah. Yeah, So it checks out.
Yeah.
That checks out. We've completely
mid-2000s.
We've completely gone off the rails. I guess this is what happens when you're back in person.
Yes,
we talk about random things. Football dudes that are coming back. Yesterday, just a slew of graphics. It was cool to see from Oregon football, and we've been talking about it on the show, Rob. Just the depth of this team. You got to like when guys like that are coming back, and I think it also says something about this place that you have guys that want to come back and enjoy another year.
Yeah, I just guys like Johnny Johnson, Jalen Red, like. I'm so psyched to watch those guys again, just because they're good dudes, they're tough dudes, they've been great program dudes, they've gotten better every year, they deserved. I mean, hey, everybody's suffered various levels of hardships over the last year, and some much worse than others. And relatively speaking, a lot of us have been pretty lucky. And so I don't mean to suggest they went through things much worse than anyone else, but they deserve to finish on a better note than that if they want to. And so. To be able to watch those guys another year is just awesome. It's pretty cool. I'm thrilled for all of them.
Yeah, I think too. Did you see Shane Lemieux's reply on Twitter to George Moore?
Yeah.
Classic.
George is he's gonna be 30 or something.
Yeah, if you haven't seen it on Twitter, I encourage you to search for Shane Lemieux and George Moore on Twitter, and you'll just really enjoy, especially those of you who have. A movie interest like I do, and you like to laugh, you'll really enjoy it.
I didn't know what the reference was.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Are you not a big movie guy?
Oh, I love watching movies.
Well, how did you not know that one then?
I don't even know what it is.
Oh.
I didn't see the reference either. So
Yeah. I mean, it was a guy paying off another guy, so I thought that was funny.
What was the
it's like Benchwarmers, Bad News Bears kind of style, where you get like the guy who's paying to step up, and he's like 35 years old, but he's a Little League game.
Oh, got it.
Yeah.
Bad News Bears?
Yeah.
Nope, didn't. Nope.
Really?
I mean, I saw the old one. Like Walter Matthau?
Yeah. And then, you've seen the bench warmers, right? With Rob Schneider?
No.
Okay. It's kind of a reference. Really, the way I took it, it was a reference to both of those things. But
Got it.
I'm also glad that a couple people in the comment section do remember AIM. Thank you, everybody, for indulging me. How about a little bit of basketball talk, Rob? The men on a pause, we know it's unfortunate. There's not a whole lot else to say there.
Yeah.
But meanwhile, the women, it's a 4-horse race in the Pac-12 right now.
Yeah.
And some pretty critical games for, I think, a squad that's still learning how to play together because there's so many new pieces.
Yeah, and you've had people coming in and out. I just think, 3 points there. We thought the strength of this team was going to be its three-point shooting, and that hasn't been the case the last few weeks. But that Aaron Boley didn't forget how to shoot. Taylor Mikesell didn't forget how to shoot. That's there some. The team-wide is slumping there, but that'll come back. But and so Kelly Graves is not going to get down on that. He knows that's gonna be a strength. But the bounce back weekend Sedona Prince had was awesome to see because the way she complements all those shooters just opens things up so much. And then the way this team's defending, they're defending better than any of the Sabrina, Ruthie, Satu teams did. That's a real strength of this group. Kelly Graves loves offensive basketball, and I'm sure it frustrates him a little bit, to not be putting up 95 a night.
Sure.
But you gotta appreciate the defense this team is playing, and if Sedona is healthy now long term, that's just huge. Hopefully Niara Sabally was just kind of they were being protective of her the other day. If Boley can come back, if her back's not too much of an issue, start hitting some shots, Mikesell hitting some shots. It's just this team can be the team we thought it was, and it's to even be experiencing some of the difficulties they've had and some of their results lately, and to still be like number 4, I think, in the net rankings, and 10 or 11, whatever, in the various polls. That says something about just the respect for this team nationally, but also just kind of how the numbers bear out that this team's playing better than it might seem just because they're not scoring 90 a night.
Well, I know you've got a Zoom to get on. We can't call them press conferences
what's coming
anymore.
Up? Is it volleyball coming up?
Women's
basketball is coming
1:30.
up, and then volleyball.
You noticed the transition from women's basketball to. Well, Rob's going to be on with the rest of the media at 1:30, and then
confusing.
we'll have some of those interviews for you on the show
Baseball's tomorrow.
Baseball's tomorrow, 11 a.m.
Yeah.
So we have that for you on the show tomorrow as well. Before I let you go, though, because I actually, in all seriousness, I do know you need to run. Mighty Oregon podcast, what should fans be tuning in for, and what do you got coming up on GoDucks.com?
Joey Harrington just dropped, as they say, yesterday, and that was a fun trip down the memory lane with Captain Comeback, just talking about when he took over as a leader and kind of having to earn everybody's respect, but then, just making plays right off the bat. Those games when he came off the bench, Arizona State, and then took over as a starter. And he was fun to talk to about, that win over Colorado in the Fiesta Bowl. And, we've talked to Devin Allen. I talked to Haley Cruz the other day. I'm talking to David Peterson.
Good.
Tomorrow, we've talked to Keely Smith. Yeah, we're trying to work things out with Raven Rogers.
Cool.
So, a lot of stuff coming.
The pipeline is stocked.
Yep.
That's what I like.
Yeah, put in a lot of work this January to kind of work ahead because, as you know very well, things are getting very chaotic right now.
Yeah, there's a lot of sports that are starting, some fall sports that are overlapping now with some spring sports, and there's a lot going on, but that's the fun part. Yep. That's the good thing to be back. Well, Rob, I'll let you go. Thanks for coming in person.
It's great to see you, man.
Yeah, you too, man. This is weird.
Totally.
Normally I'm like, should I be leaning over to give you like a fist bump and a handshake to say goodbye? It's like that.
Yeah. Hey, it's just good enough to just say hi.
Yeah, that's right. And I think, the elbow, we discussed this actually probably too much on the show. Like, so what are we going to do? Like virtual fist bumps, or like, I actually like the elbow.
Yeah.
The elbow can stay.
Yeah, no doubt.
I'm in. Rob Moseley's the editor-in-chief, GoDucks.com. Subscribe to the Mighty Oregon podcast where you get your podcast. His byline, of course, all his work, GoDucks.com. On Twitter at GoDucksMoseley, at DuckFootball. I don't think we missed anything, and maybe we'll do this in person again sometime.
Sounds good, man.
All right, man. Derek Radley coming up next. We're going to talk with the Oregon women's golf head coach as their season begins in actually just about a week and a half on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
Dear Wallet, you can't stop a new 2021 Toyota no matter the weather. The Camry all-wheel drive comes out to play. Snowy hills don't stand a chance against the RAV4, and everyone will be comfy in the Highlander. See you in the snow. Toyota. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota. Let's go places.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union. Join in. OnPointCU.com. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Dear Wallet, you can't stop a new 2021 Toyota, no matter the weather. The Camry all-wheel drive comes out to play. Snowy hills don't stand a chance against the RAV4, and everyone will be comfy in the Highlander. See you in the snow. Toyota. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota. Let's go places.
Duck Insider continues after this timeout on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
Tweens have mastered the art of tuning out. Jen, there's a spider in the car. We're turning your room into a home gym. See? Nothing. But some messages need to get through. Like making sure they're buckled up the whole ride, every time. Do whatever it takes to make your child listen. Jen, I friended your boyfriend.
Wait, what?
Buckle up, sweetie.
Never give up until they buckle up. Learn more at safercar.gov/kidsbuckleup. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
To buy your home, you became a house hunting ace, learned about loans, scoured neighborhoods, and asked the right questions. Now you're queen of your castle. If you manage that, you can get your retirement plan on track. Visiting aceyourretirement.org can help. With 401k tips and smart saving strategies, you'll feel empowered to own your retirement like you own your home. Go to aceyourretirement.org. Because when it comes to clearing financial hurdles, you're an ace. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. I'm Joey Mack inside the Country Financial Studio. Joining us on the University of Oregon Alumni Association guest line, Oregon women's golf head coach Derek Radley. Coach, it's great to see you, and I love the backdrop. Last time you were on, we talked about the flag behind you, and we were just talking during the break that you got a new addition here.
I do. Joey, thanks so much for having me on, bud. It's great to see you, too. And, yes, this is my work/recruiting headquarters/ kids playroom.
Nice.
So the two boys are dialed in. It's a new little Christmas gift that we got with the breakaway rim. They're fired up. We got a little Lego table over here, and little toy organization over here. But so it's all good, man.
Hey,
but
so serious question though. I mean, how often are you dunking on the thing? I mean, it's right there next to you.
We get after it. My 5-year-old Palmer and I pretty much every night we're hooping on it. But certainly if some good things come our way during the workday, then I'm definitely jumping up and doing a little 360 action out of it for sure.
I like that. I like that. Derek Radley, our guest, Oregon women's golf head coach. We told you last week about their schedule and how things are shaping up. Well, pretty soon you guys are going to be getting things rolling. February 6th is when everything starts up in Corvallis. Is it nice to have a bus ride trip as your first road trip of the year?
It is. We're so excited, bud. And honestly, just so thankful. Our assistant coach, Monica Vaughn, and I have just missed our team so much. And so everybody is officially back in Eugene. We had a 10-month break from our last team practice, which was on March the 12th, to our very first team practice of the season, where we had everybody back on January the 12th. So we're so excited. I know they are, and we're so excited to kick off the season close to home. With just a quick van trip up there. Extremely thankful for our medical staff that helped us get fit for N95 masks so we can wear them in our van rides when we start to travel, and certainly everything that they're doing. But I know we're just beyond thankful for the opportunity to compete again.
I feel like every coach now has become like a logistics master more than ever before. And you guys were already dealing with a lot of logistics and traveling and those sorts of things, but I mean, it's a whole nother level at this point, isn't it?
It's incredible. We've been kind of using the slogan, make plans, but don't commit.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how it is. But, our main focus as coaches and leaders to these ladies is to stay optimistic and stay positive through all of this. So no matter what comes our way, we're going to be ready for it. But it's definitely I wouldn't be honest if I didn't say it wasn't challenging.
Hey, how do you approach that as a leader of a squad? I mean, how do you personally stay positive in a time like this?
You know, I'm just excited. I'm thankful. My wife is my soundboard, Sarah, who she played professional golf for 8 years. So I would say a lot of things are kind of unleashed on her, probably unfair to her at times. But she's always just kind of my great voice of reason to be thankful for everything that we have. And so just making sure we go to practice every day. But honestly, we've missed them so much that it's easy to get excited and easy to stay positive. So we're hopeful. I know it's still early in the season and things are probably going to get tedious as we go on. It could be draining, but hopefully we can persevere through that.
Take fans inside what practice looks like, and you guys are working out heading into the start of a season. I mean, is it much different in a low-risk sport, as the NCAA says, like golf?
It is. However, we're still treating it as if we're high risk. So even though we're outside, we're really stressing to our team that we want you wearing masks. And in fact, that's actually become our new team chant. We're 6 feet apart from each other, and we put our arms up in the air. We don't touch each other's hands, and we say mask up on 3. It used to always be go Ducks. But, that's the secret, I think, Bud, to the success of this season is keeping everybody healthy and certainly keeping these student athletes healthy and keeping that a priority. So, practice is good. Thankfully, we are golf. We're outside, and we can go and we can play. But, we're just trying to be serious about this and really washing our hands and following the guidelines still. So.
Break down the roster for us. Some standouts heading into the season. Who you guys counting on?
Really excited for this roster, Joey. Led by our senior, Alexis. She is made huge strides in these last three years of us being her coaches, and really excited for her to get out there and have her senior leadership. Our juniors are Bella Setio and Heather Lynn. And, it's funny. It just seems like yesterday they were freshmen, and now it's like, oh my gosh, they're juniors. And so they're jumping on board with Alexis, kind of taking that senior leadership role as well. And then our star-studded sophomore class that we had brought in last year as freshmen, led by All-American Sophie Kibsgaard-Nielsen from Denmark, who just raised the bar of our program last season. And then our other two, Chin-Soo Chen, who has made huge progress. I'm so proud of her. You should see, she took weightlifting like really serious when she was home during the break in Taiwan. She's coming back stronger than ever. And then, of course, our superstar from Southern California, Brianna Chacon, has been awesome and working so hard on her game as well. And then our new superstar freshman, who, Jody, I had to tell you a crazy story. So she's from Taiwan. Her name is Xin Yu Lu, and her English name is Cynthia. Cynthia has never been to the University of Oregon. She never was able to come on an official visit. So she was enrolled. She was all on board. She took 3 classes in the fall without even being here before. She was still at home in Taiwan.
Wow.
Waking up in the middle of the night with the time difference, and she rocked it. And so she came to Eugene on December the 27th, ready to go for this upcoming spring season. And we've kind of made the joke that this is like her introduction to the University of Oregon / official visit. So she's been seeing all these facilities and everything for the very first time, but she is a rock star. I think right now she's top 50 in the world. She's probably the best recruit that this program has ever brought in, and is going to make a huge impact on this team.
That's an incredible story, though. I mean, I feel like that's going to be something that, at least I hope that this is the case. A few years from now, we all look back and be like, man, remember that? Like, that was crazy, and hopefully that's after a very, very successful career. We continue with Derek Radley, Oregon women's golf head coach. We've talked about this before, how you've done such an amazing job bringing in the international recruits, Coach. And in this landscape, that's got to even be infinitely more challenging. Has it been, and just dealing with that, with all of that as you build out your roster?
Yes, absolutely. I think the most challenging thing right now is looking ahead. I feel like we really kind of got the ball rolling now that this is our third season, but looking ahead with future recruits, and it's challenging, not just for us, but for all coaches that we're not able to go watch these young ladies play in person yet. So Zoom is certainly become our friends. It's become all of our friends, but just trying to get a grasp on that, and certainly our current international student athletes, making sure that they feel safe when they do travel and come back to Eugene. That's the most important part, Bud. And in constant communication with their parents and their families to make sure that they know that their kids' safety is a priority for us. And so, but with that said, most of them were home this past fall. We checked in with them a couple times a week on Zoom, coached them virtually. And I want to say 5 out of our 7 on our team right now, their individual world ranking is the best it's ever been. So they've been working extremely hard, whether near or far, and I know that they're ready to go this season.
And this has been a unique sport in golf, at least compared to others that are here at the University of Oregon, where your student athletes were able to compete a little bit. We talked about that a bit last time you were on, and that's got to help, right? That they weren't just completely cooped up, for lack of a better phrase.
For both physically and mentally. Golf is all they know, right? As most athletes, that's all they know is their sport. And so for them to still be able to get outside, compete, even with everything going on, was huge. And coming back and after watching them for a couple weeks at practice, we do a lot of testing to see where all parts of their game are at. I'll tell you, they're looking pretty good right now. So they've definitely worked hard and took advantage of the competition that they could play in this past fall.
How good's the Pac-12 this year?
Really good. It's stacked. And it's funny because this 5th-year deal, as a competitive coach, you almost want to see some of these seniors get out of here that you're competing against, and now they're kind of sticking around. But certainly that's going to help us get better and raise the bar. But golly, rankings are a little skewed. I would say probably right now, just because the Pac-12 didn't have a chance to compete this fall. But
right.
Man, it's going to be challenging, and it's going to make us better. So we're really excited.
Heading towards the NCAA championships, which take place in May. Everything starts for Oregon women's golf against Oregon State coming up on February 6th. Well, Coach, hey, I thank you so much for taking the time, and I hope that we'll be able to do this again. And I've been saying, stay positive, test negative. That's kind of been a good motto these days. So I'll say that and continue doing great things. And thanks for taking the time, and good luck the rest of the season.
Thanks for everything, Joe. I appreciate it, buddy. Mask up.
I like that. Throw the O. That's good. That's just that is good branding in our line of work, Coach. That's well done. I think you're onto something here. All right, quick timeout. When we come back from one head coach to another, Oregon volleyball head coach Matt Ulmer joins us after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
Hi, welcome to the Spicy Drive-In. May I take your order?
Can I get the spicy chicken sandwich, please?
The spicy chicken is an excellent choice, sir. And to drink?
Whatever's fine.
Oh, may I make a beverage pairing recommendation this evening?
Sure.
If we are feeling especially bold tonight, sir, I would recommend the Mountain Dew with that. It's bravely unrestrained with a very alive aroma that pairs wonderfully with your spicy chicken. It's followed by a hint of zesty citrus flavor.
Yeah, that sounds amazing.
I'm sure you already know this, sir, but remember to appreciate the nose first by giving the Mountain Dew a little swirl to relieve volatilize it.
What?
To change the flavor compounds and activate your taste buds to get them fully primed for that chicken sandwich.
It's delicious.
Now you're getting the hang of it. The muscular flavor charge characteristics of Mountain Dew make for an absolutely epic mouthfeel when paired with spicy cuisine. It is quite on point, sir.
Dude, it's a perfect match. Like they were made for each other.
So true, so true.
When you want to make good food bolder and bold food better, do the Dew.
Duck Insider, your home for the latest news on Oregon athletics. This is the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
Whoa, long time no see. It's me, the Rock t-shirt in the back of your closet. Dude, remember? You crowd surfed in me, man. But you haven't worn me in like forever. I get it, you're retired, but I still got some rock left in me. So take me to Goodwill, where I can really make a difference.
Your donations to Goodwill create jobs, training programs, and education assistance for people in your community. To find your nearest donation center, go to goodwill.org. Donate stuff, create jobs. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
I wasn't prepared to be a caregiver to Mom. I had no idea how hard it would be and what I would need to know. Things I never thought of, like how to improve her mood and ways for me to stay positive. Luckily, I found the Caregiving Resource Center from AARP. It had articles about the basics, but also information about the hurdles I was facing.
Caregiving Resource Center at aarp.org/caregiving. Articles, tips, and tools to help you both care for your loved one and care for yourself. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Joy Mack with you inside the Country Financial Studio. And joining us on the University of Oregon Alumni Association guest line from his brand spanking new office, it's Matt Ulmer. And we got a tour during the break. It's not just a white wall in his office anymore. They're actually starting to move in. But I imagine that there's more important things to worry about than decorating your office, because you guys have a season that we get to talk about, Matt. Hey, just how awesome was it to be back on the floor this past weekend?
It was wonderful. Yeah, just to be with the group and, travel together, just have some time together, have conversation together, being able to compete against a really good opponent and kind of see where we're at and see what we got and make adjustments. And yeah, it's fantastic. We missed it.
So where are you and what do you have?
Yeah, I think we have a lot. And where are we at? I mean, we're in a better spot than we were a year ago, so it's nice to have a healthy roster.
I'm sorry, I got to say, I don't mean to laugh, but I know that the injuries last year just sucked. And so just hearing you say that with a smile on your face, I think it brings warm feelings to Duck fans' hearts everywhere.
Appreciate it.
I think.
I really mean it. Yeah, no, it's nice to have a healthy roster. It's nice to have everybody engaged and being able to play. I think we're pretty talented everywhere. So it's just a matter of coming together, getting in live action and getting some chemistry together, learning how to play together, learning how to play against different opponents and just competing. And I thought we played overall pretty well. There's definitely areas that you can tell we've only practiced for 10 days when it comes, but I thought we made some really good adjustments. The team did overall to Sunday from Friday, and we beat a good team on Sunday, and that's always exciting.
Yeah, so splitting the weekend, you got to be happy with the bounce-back performance, right? As a coach, you probably love to see that, don't you?
Absolutely. And, the first match we lost by a total of 5 points, I think. Yeah. Total. So, that could have gone either way. And then our second match it was in 5 sets, could have gone either way. So, we're competing well. And yeah, I liked that we were able to make adjustments on the fly. And I like that we are mentally capable enough within our sport, within our skill set to be able to do that. I think that's really important, especially this year when you're playing the same team twice back to back. I have a feeling it's going to be like that every weekend. And maybe the teams that are able to adjust the most will have the most success.
Oregon Volleyball head coach Matt Ulmer joining us. Georgia Murphy, given the Pac-12 Defensive Player of the Week honor. She's already leading the conference in digs a couple matches in. How good was your libero this weekend?
She was really good. And Sunday she was spectacular. She could have easily had 30 digs. We give her a hard time that she only had 29. She's great. Her roommate is Brooke Nunneviller. And so the person she could have beat with more would be Brooke Nunneviller. So I like that, that they're best friends and that they go at each other. I think that's a really good thing. But, Georgia last year was hurt with her left shoulder all year. So just for her, ending in 2019 season, having surgery, rehabbing, coming back, and just being healthy and free to make all those moves, which the moves that she makes on the floor are very dynamic and very aggressive. And so you need to have just a lot of trust in the health of your body to be able to make those moves. So just to see her play freely, really for the first time, was really a joy to watch, and I'm excited for her season.
Talking about another player now that's getting healthy, I hope at least, knock on wood, that's going to be the theme of the season is, man, what it looks like to have a healthy roster. Taylor Borap, that had to be cool to see her in action.
Really cool. Yeah, she was so nervous. And I think
was she?
Oh, yeah. It's the first time she's played in over 2 years, right? So just excited to get out there. I still don't feel like she's super confident in her movement yet. And I think that's the only thing that can happen is just time. She just needs reps in the game and to see that she can do it. I show her film and show her how high she is, and she just doesn't feel like she's that high, even though she is in the game, or that she's moving that well, even though she is. So I think she's just got to gain more and more confidence in her ability to make certain movements that in the past had always been really difficult for her to make because of her injury. So I think, I anticipate every week she's just going to get more and more comfortable and more effective. And if she scores more points for us, then we're going to be a very good team.
Gloria Mutiri, I got to just ask you about a few more individuals. And I thought Gloria was really, really impressive this weekend. I got to love what you got from your transfer.
Yeah, she was a big-time scorer, especially on Sunday. I think she had 4 or 5 kills in the 5th set. And she was matched up against a 6'5", very good blocker on the other side, and she scored a lot of points for us. So, and again, I thought she was very mature. She handled the game well. The tough opportunities, she made good choices, and when it was open, she went for it. And she's a tough defend for sure. So definitely love having her in the green and yellow.
Matt Ulmer with us, Oregon Volleyball head coach. It's a limited sample size so far, but you're leading the conference in blocks. You happy with where your defense is at the net?
It's better than not.
Yeah, well, there you go.
The interesting thing, again for us and Washington State is we have very limited time being able to block a live hitter.
Yeah.
So while our technique, I think, has really improved because that's something we could do, we just haven't had that rhythm, that timing of blocking against a live attack. And so I thought that really improved from the first match to the second match of just starting to understand the rhythm of play against somebody else. And our sport, it's like a golf swing. A block is, I feel like, and I heard you talk with Rob that your golf swing's really good, so you'll understand this. But like if you do a little something wrong in your golf swing, it can be a really bad result for you. And that's kind of how blocking is for us. And so if you're a little bit off, a little early, a little late, whatever, it can really be disastrous for your defense. So I liked the adjustments we made, and we're big. Our smallest blocker is Brooke Nuneviller, who touches 10-1, 10-2, which is above the rim.
Jeez.
In basketball. So that's our small blocker. So I do like that about us, and we have good floor defense behind, and we served much better in the second match, which definitely helped set up that block.
I don't know what you're talking about with little things make it all go bad. Big things can make it go way, way bad too. All right, thank you, Coach. How's your golf game these days?
Mine's gotten a lot better over COVID.
Okay, all right.
Social distance thing, I feel like I could do.
Fair enough.
So it was either homeschooling, the 5 and 7 year old, or golfing. Yeah. So it was both. It was a nice mix. Weather over COVID, didn't we?
Oh, that's great. Friday at 6 o'clock on Pac-12 Network, also on the radio side on KWVA, the student radio station, back in action, and the live stream, I should say, is available on pac-12.com/live. 6 o'clock on Friday for the home opener now for Oregon Volleyball. Matt, tell us a little bit about what it's going to be like to be back at Matthew Knight Arena, competing against somebody that isn't yourself and just competing in general.
Yeah, we had a scrimmage against Oregon State, so we got at home 2 weeks ago, and so we got a sense of what the gym setup will be like. We've seen basketball do it, but we haven't done it ourselves, and it was for sure different. But it was so good to just be back on the main floor on Kilkenny Court and play in front of all the fans that don't move. But it was great. It was great to see faces that we love, and just be able to be together and play a home match. So we're really excited to play UCLA. UCLA is a very good team, very talented. They're picked, I think they're top 20 in the country right now, and they're better than that. And so this will be another really good test for us and see what we can do.
Did you happen to spot a Stormtrooper helmet and a idiot wearing a headset amongst the fans at Matthew Knight Arena yet?
I thought there was a duck wearing a Stormtrooper helmet.
Oh, maybe he stole your idea. Maybe the duck stole Scott's idea.
I feel like I
saw that. Now Scott's going to have to go and figure it out for sure. Yeah.
Look around.
Yeah, those were our contributions to the cardboard cutout was Stormtrooper helmet and, of course, the headset. I feel like no one would recognize me if I didn't have glasses and a headset anymore. It just blend right in at that point.
We recognize you with shorter hair. I feel like the big hair was really nice.
People would see me like Matt and I haven't seen each other in person in over a year, right? So every now and then when someone has to come into the office, Scott and I are here every day, but every now and then when someone has to come into the office, they would see me, and this is true, Matt, like people would look at me and they'd be like, "Who are you?" Like, I'd get that long stare of, like, I've never seen you in a mask before. Your hair's really long. I don't know who you are. Do you work here?
Did you like that?
No.
No.
It was weird because then I'd say something, and then people would be like, oh, it's Joey. Like, oh, that's weird.
You just have one of those great voices, so it's really important for you to talk. And beautiful. It's beautiful.
I guess.
Very soothing.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
It's something, that's for sure. All right, so UCLA. just final question, I guess, for you, because I realize now that we've talked about hair. UCLA, just keys to beating them, Matt, especially as you touched on a little bit. It's still a little odd having those back-to-backs.
Yeah, again, for us, we need to serve well. We need to serve enough to disrupt them and get their setters off the net. That would be very helpful. They have 4 really good pin attackers that they move. They're running a 6-2 right now also. So if we could do that, that would be very helpful. So we could set up our big block and set up our defense. And then for us, it always comes down to serve and pass. So can we control the ball to give our setters a good opportunity to run our offense? And, can we just play like we did last week and just aggressive and excited to be out there and play together? So if we do that, it should be a good match, and we'll have a chance to win.
I'll do my best to cheer from afar, and hopefully you can hear it inside the arena, okay?
That sounds wonderful.
I'll try.
Maybe we can pipe you in.
Are they going to pipe in any sound for you guys this weekend?
I asked them not to.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're not a fan of the piped in artificial noise?
I like it. I like it as a when I watch on TV. I've heard live it's not fantastic.
I would say I have no comment on the matter. We can get into that another. We'll get into that another time.
We'll do music during timeouts and stuff like that, but I think we're not going to just keep the noise on.
All right.
But we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
It's
hey, you gotta be adaptable.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's what we're going to do.
You're going to be adaptable. I like that. He's Matt Ulmer. He's the head coach of the Oregon Volleyball team, and they have their home opener coming up on Friday, 6 o'clock. You can watch it on Pac-12 Network. The guys at KWVA, the student radio station, will have the radio call on 88.1 FM. Matt, thanks for always taking the time. I really do appreciate it and look forward to catching up with you, hopefully after a pair of wins.
It's a pleasure. Thank you, sir.
He is Matt Ulmer, head coach, Oregon Volleyball, joining us on the University of Oregon Alumni Association guest line. We've got more Duck Insider coming up on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union. Join in. OnPointCU.com. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
After 2 years of construction, my wife and I finally moved into our dream home. So when a bathtub fixture broke, causing major water damage, I was glad we had the home insurance protection we needed. How do you know your home is protected? Talk to a Country Financial rep like me, Nick Simon. We can help you understand your options and select coverages to meet your needs. Then if something happens to your home, you won't have any surprises. Need the right coverage for your home but not sure where to start? Visit TakeSimpleSteps.com or contact a local Country representative.
This is Duck Insider. Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
All right, everybody in the car. Let's go.
What are we gonna do first when we get there, Mom? Go for a hike?
Sure.
What about canoeing? Can we go canoeing too?
I don't see why.
How long does it take to get to the forest?
It's not that far, sweetie.
Are we there yet?
Yep, we're here.
Already?
It's a short drive from your neighborhood to your naturehood. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a neighborhood park or green space near you. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the U.S. Forest Service.
They say that car crashes happen in slow motion. The reality is that crashes happen fast. There's no time to think and no time to check if your child is in the right car seat. Car crashes are a leading killer of children 1 to 13. Are your kids in the right seat for their age and size? Don't think you know. Know you know. Get more info at safercar.gov/the-right-seat. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Joey Mack here with you inside the Country Financial Studio. A lot of interviews today. My thanks to Rob Moseley. He came over in person. It was good to see him again, man. It's been too long. Normally, I'm used to being at football. Rob and I will be walking around, and we'll film a quack minute, and we mess up a couple times, and then Rob and I give each other a hard time, and it was just I feel like that's why we went off on a tangent talking about random stuff today. And so for those of you who weren't entertained, I apologize. And for those of you that were, thanks for indulging us. I mean, we just haven't been able to have those sorts of conversations. Like, the thing I miss the most is, like, the hallway conversation at the office. Like, we don't, like, no offense to...
That was the hallway.
Yeah, like, no offense to Scott, but, like, Scott and I talk about a lot of things. And it's nice to have other people you can have those hallway conversations with. You know what I mean?
Rob's great.
Yeah. Meanwhile, your Cafe Yum 2-minute drill. Oregon men's golf is continuing their opening tournament today. They'll have some scoring updates here coming up this afternoon as we go off the air. We'll have an update for you tomorrow on how they did. They were trending in the top 5 of the tournament, which is a pretty good start for a very young squad. Also, if you're just joining us, men's basketball, unfortunately, has entered into a pause for the second time this season. The next 3 games, all of which were scheduled to be in Los Angeles, are postponed for Oregon men's basketball. The Oregon women, though, meanwhile, are getting ready for a 2 o'clock tip-off between the Ducks and... Oh, I can't believe that I almost messed that up, but I almost said Salt Lake City, the Ducks and Salt Lake City, because it was in Salt Lake City. It's the Ducks and the Utes coming up at 2 o'clock on Friday. At least I caught myself. And also, this is cool. Men's tennis begins this weekend. BYU is on the schedule at 3 o'clock on Friday for Oregon men's tennis. And we've been talking about Oregon volleyball in action at 6 o'clock on Friday. And track and field starts as well. Also, as we go off the air today, some updates from Oregon Cheerleading as they're partnering with Food for Lane County in coordination with UO employees as part of the Governor's State Employees Food Drive. More information on the Oregon Cheerleading Instagram. If you're not able to donate in person, you can donate online. The link is in the bio for Oregon Cheerleading. Follow them on Instagram, just in general, but also a great cause. We'll tell you a little bit more about that tomorrow. See you then.
Okay, man, this is your time. Maybe you didn't choose this, but you're here now. You're gonna go out there and be an all-star caregiver. Cook, clean, be there emotionally and physically. You gotta dig deeper. Drive them to physical therapy, doctor's appointments, because that's what caregivers do. Don't give up. Show the world that you're tougher than tough. Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving.